possible adverse effects based on the answers you provide. The result is a program that is revolutionizing the health and wellness industry. Welcome to ID Life. For more information, just go to thedougstewartshow.idlife.com. That's thedougstewartshow.idlife.com. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BV Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BV Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bvmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bvmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. There's a storm coming! Ha ha! A firestorm. Get ready to raise your game because watching sports will never be the same. Introducing FireFan. It's a game changer. Finally, a sports app that puts you into the game. You predict the scores, you call the plays in real time while you watch and compete against sports heroes, celebrities, friends, family, or other die-hard fans. The more you call it, the more points you can achieve. Also, be a loyal fan and earn loyalty rewards. Don't miss the hottest app of the year, FireFan. Ignite your passion. Yeah! Yes, sir. Yeah. Register now at firefan.com today. Enter player rewards code TDSS. That's player rewards TDSS. Play the game, fan the fire, earn rewards. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. This is a Man Talk Monday. And we're going to call this like the Power Hour or something like that. Hour number 3. The Power Hour. I like that. We're going to call the third hour the Power Hour. We're going to do a bunch of different things with the Power Hour when we start going to 3 hours a day very soon here. It's coming very soon. So with that Power Hour, man, we're going to do a couple of different things, little twists and turns. We'll probably do a couple more interviews than you're used to with the Doug Stewart Show as well. Little features. So, yeah, that's what we'll call the third hour of the show. Once we go full time to the third hour, we'll call it the Power Hour. The Power Hour. Yeah, quickly, Louisville, man, they go down for the second week in a row, man, to the University of Kentucky. You lose to Kentucky in football? Yeah, they lose to Kentucky, man. Lamar Jackson this past weekend against Kentucky was 16 for 25, 281 yards. His completion percentage was good for this game at 64%. He had a long pass of 42 yards, threw 2 touchdowns, but then he had 3 interceptions and he was sacked 3 times. Now, you know the week before, he was sacked 11 times by Houston. So the last couple of weeks, man, have not been good for Lamar Jackson, but I still think that based on what he did the other 8 games of the year, I still think he deserves the Heisman. What do y'all think? Listen to the Doug Stewart Show because you can tell from the way the wind is blowing that the national media is trying to slip in Baker Mayfield from Oklahoma and Deshaun Watson, probably more deservingly so than Baker Mayfield, in my opinion, because Deshaun Watson's got this body of work from last year. And he's been playing good over the last couple of weeks. He's been playing good all year long, just not like he did last year. You know, they went to the national championship. They're going to be in the Final Four again this year. So I understand an argument for Deshaun Watson, But as far as most valuable player, MVP in college football, but more importantly, the most valuable player to your team, if Louisville didn't have Lamar Jackson, where would they be? Even with Lamar Jackson, they've lost 2 games decidedly over the last couple of weeks. And don't forget about what this man has done stat-wise. This man consistently, week in and week out, threw for maybe 5 touchdowns, ran for 200 yards, ran another 2 touchdowns. And because of 2 bad games, and they have been bad games, not totally his doing. I mean, they can't block anybody to save their life, it seems like. He's fallen back a little bit, but I still think that you should give him the Heisman Trophy, man. He's the best, most dynamic player in college football. I mean, do y'all agree? Do y'all agree? From Andre Elam in the chat room, he says McCaffrey is going to take some votes. Dalvin Cook is most valuable to our team. Yeah, but I mean, and you can argue about it a million different ways, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. There seems like there's this push in the media, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. There's this push for Baker Mayfield, the quarterback of Oklahoma. Now, I'm not saying he hadn't had a great year stats-wise as well. He's actually thrown the ball a lot better than Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson's passing at about 57% completion percentage, and Baker Mayfield's like at 68%. So he's doing a hell of a job, but they've had some bad losses. They lost early in the year. Obviously, they lost to Oklahoma State. They had another bad loss early in the year as well. I believe maybe to West Virginia or somebody like that. So they've all got losses. I still think, man, kind of like last year as well with Leonard Fournette, where he had this incredible first half of the season. And Louisville and Lamar Jackson have had a great second half of the season as well, but just the last 2-3 games, they have struggled mightily. I'm looking at his numbers for his career or for this season. Lamar Jackson, he's passing 57%, as I mentioned before. He's thrown 30 touchdown passes and 9 interceptions. And here's another thing I always hate about how they do stats. Like, they just so disregard rushing stats for the quarterback. It makes me sick. They don't even have his rushing stats, involved with his career stats on this stat page that I'm looking at. But you see, touchdowns, he ran 2 touchdowns against Charlotte, 4. So that's 4, 6, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. This man has rushed for 21 touchdowns alongside of 30 touchdown passes that he's thrown for. I mean, come on, man. He'd accounted for 51, 52 touchdowns. That man deserves the Heisman Trophy. Damn. Give him the damn Heisman Trophy. From Angry Black Man in the chat room, Ninja, Jackson is dual threat. He runs and passes. Mayfield does nothing but throws in a conference, the Big 12, that plays no defense. That's a very well put point. They play damn defense in the Big 12. Everybody and their mama throw the ball 50, 60 times a game. So, I mean, those stats are deflated as hell. Nobody plays good defense, as my man Angry Black Man said. And what? You can do 2 things. Doing 2 things is better than 1 thing to me. But you can kind of tell, once again, how the wind is blowing. That they're trying to, talk up this Baker Mayfield kid. And once again, I'm not saying he's not a good player, but Lamar Jackson deserves it more. And then if you want to give it to somebody, I think the order should be Lamar Jackson number 1, Deshaun Watson number 2. Maybe you can go ahead and put the Baker Mayfield kid in there if you want. I don't care. But that's the way it should be, man. That's the way it should be. Speaking of which, these bowl games, man, or let me quickly run through a couple of more of the scores. You know what happened. Wisconsin beat Minnesota 31-17. Penn State continues to dominate. Shouts out to James Franklin, the head coach of Penn State. They beat Michigan State 45-12 in dominating fashion. Florida State got it done against Florida. Vanderbilt beats Tennessee in the in-state rivalry. That's a ugly, that's a bad L for Tennessee. That's just a bad look. Once again, Butch Jones, what's his name? Butch Jones, I believe it is, head coach of Tennessee. They come into this season. Everybody's talking about Tennessee. They're back. They're not back. They ain't back from nothing. The number 5 team at the time, Washington, beats Washington State 45-17. We'll talk more about the twists and turns of the playoffs here in a second and where they come into the conversation. So, there you have it. Your ACC championship, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. Your ACC championship is Clemson versus Virginia Tech. Your Big Ten championship is Penn State versus Wisconsin. Your SEC championship game is Alabama versus Florida, who Florida is, did we talk about them? The Florida Gators got it this weekend, took it on the chin from the Florida State Seminoles. We did mention that. But you got the SEC championship, Alabama versus Florida. And then you've also got the Pac-12 championship. You've got the Washington Huskies on one side of the bracket in the Big 12, taking on the Colorado Buffaloes. It's not a championship game. It's not a championship game, but you also have Oklahoma State taking on Oklahoma. They call it Bedlam. That's the Bedlam game this weekend as well. Fox TV, 12:30 p.m. kickoff time. So, here's the final 4 as it stands right now. They're going to have the new football rankings tomorrow night, but the top 10 are number 10, USC, number 9, Colorado, number 8, USC is out of the question because they aren't going to even play in the championship game. Number 8, here's where it gets interesting. You've got Penn State, the Nittany Lions, at number 8, number 7, Oklahoma, number 6, Wisconsin, number 5, Michigan, number 4, Washington, number 3, Clemson, number 2, Ohio State, and number 1, Alabama. But here's the problem, and I know you've heard it and seen people talk about it, but Alabama or Ohio State isn't going to play in their championship game. They're not going to play in the championship game from the Big 12 or from the Big 10. So what happens if, Washington goes on and wins the Pac-12 championship game, and what if Penn State beats Wisconsin in the Big 10 championship game? And Big 10, if they win the Big 10, Penn State, if they win the Big 10 and they beat Ohio State earlier this year, how in the hell can you justify putting Ohio State in the Final Four teams in the playoffs and not Penn State? And I've heard pretty much everybody to a man say that Ohio State is the better team. All these quote-unquote national analysts and these journalists. I want to talk a little bit more about that whole notion when we get back from the break. Yeah. I got a real problem with that if I'm Penn State and I beat Wisconsin this weekend. I got a huge problem with that. We'll talk about it up next on the Doug Stewart Show. Don't go away.
The sleeper pick, the guy only you believe in. In 1 week fantasy football on DraftKings, he can be the difference. So trust your gut. Trust your numbers. Trust your Uncle Vito if you want. But know this, that sleeper is out there. The question is, who's going to play him? This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time.
To create your account, click on the banner link on thedougsstewartshow.com or the Doug Stewart Show app. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're